I'm such a baby, cause the Dolphins make me cry.
8:15, we got the Dolphins, which sit at 7-7. The 11 seed traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints, which sit at 7-7. The 8 seed. Dolphins favor 3 points in ESPN. Let's go through the injuries real quickly, and I'll explain why this game is so important to both teams. Albert Wilson has COVID for this team. He's the number 3 receiver on the team, normally behind Jalen Waddle.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle, waddle. Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
And Devontae Parker, which means Isaiah Ford, the 2017 7th-round pick out of Virginia Tech, and Matt Collins, the 2017 4th-round pick out of UNC, have got to step it up this week with no Albert Wilson, who's been there really, when Jalen Waddle's been out, he's been their explosive threat on offense, and they use him a lot in different scenarios, so Isaiah Ford and Matt Collins are going to have to take the weight, taking that role, and then not to mention Preston Williams, who's kind of got to fill in the Matt Collins / Isaiah Ford role, 4th-year player out of Colorado State. Cornerback's the only really position of injury for the Dolphins. Every other position, I mean, you got some injury at depth. Like, the offensive line depth is not very good. So if an offensive line injury happens in the game, you're probably going to be like, if you're the Dolphins. I mean, outside of that, there's not that much. There's some outside linebacker depth issues. There's a defensive end that's like a 3rd string that's hurt. Not a lot of injury issues for the Dolphins outside of corner. Jamal Perry went down with a knee injury. He's out for the rest of the year. Justin Coleman has COVID. He's out for this game at least. And Elijah Campbell has a toe injury. He could return in this game. But if not, you're going to have 5 corners. To be fair, Justin Coleman is the only one that sees a significant amount of playing time. But it's going to be like you have to replace him. Xavier Howard, 2016 7th-round, the 2nd-round pick out of Baylor, and Byron Jones, 2015 1st-round pick out of UConn, are obviously the number 1 and number 2 corners. They're so good. They're so good that you can put them on islands with the receivers, especially with Saints receivers. And they likely, most of the time, will win those matchups, and then you can bring blitzes, and that's what makes the Dolphins' defense work so well. Nick Needham is always been the nickelback. So it's going to be interesting to see. He's a 4th-year player at UTEP. But Justin Coleman has been in the game. Like, Nick Needham and him sometimes take snaps, different in nickelback. On defensive formations where they have dime, they normally have Justin Coleman out there. So I think most likely to take Justin Coleman's spot is probably Noah Igbenogany, 2020 1st-round pick out of Auburn. Obviously not great that he's a 1st-round pick and he's behind Nick Needham and Justin Coleman, but it's likely going to be him because the other guy is Terrell Williams that's healthy, and he's an undrafted rookie out of Syracuse. Now, he did show some promise in the preseason, and he did show some promise in his time at Syracuse, and was really surprised that he went undrafted. And my Saints actually did have him, so it was unfortunate because I really did want him in our secondary. But let's go to the Saints, who have just been ravaged by COVID and injury over the past week. Heading into this game, I felt pretty confident. If we beat the Dolphins, I felt like we had a solid chance of making the playoffs. Then I got the news that Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian both have COVID, cannot play in this game. Now, we also know that Jameis Winston was lost early in the year to an ACL injury, which meant 2021 4th-round pick out of Notre Dame, Ian Book, our 4th quarterback of the year, is going to have to start in this matchup. And this is a crucial matchup. He's got to win it, too. Not only did the quarterback in position get just absolutely walloped with COVID, the tight end position has been just absolutely ravaged by injuries and COVID. Obviously, COVID is the better one to have because COVID, you get out for a week, maybe 2 max, and then you can get them back. There's no long-term issues most of the time. But it still hurts for this week because you're going to be without tight end Adam Troutman and Juwan Johnson, both players who have been your number 1 and number 3 tight ends this season, and Juwan Johnson has been one of your better red zone threats this year. I also got Garrett Griffin. He got hurt earlier in the season, a couple weeks ago now. He's on IR at least to week 18 with a hammy injury. So he's not going to be able to play in this game. And Dylan Sainer, he got hurt before the season even started, undisclosed. Now, you can hope and pray as a Saints fan, this is kind of one of those things that they did with Blake Gillikin, that they go undisclosed injury. It's not really an injury, but they can't put you on, they don't want to put you on the press. Like Blake Gillikin, they believe he was the future punter, but you know Thomas Morstead was going to stay that one last year, and you know that you can't replace Thomas Morstead before the start of the season. That would be really rude and disrespectful to a guy. but that was already playing at a very high level. It was still playing at a very high level, and you just couldn't do that to that guy. And so you're like, Gillikin, you're going to be the punter next year. Just be like, get an injury, don't really get hurt, and we can put you on IR, and that's really it. But you can hope that's what they would do with Dylan Sainer, and they can just activate him this week to help out the one and only tight end left on our roster, and Nick Vannett. He's the number 2 tight end. He was brought in free agency, and he has been doing some good things offensively. He dropped a big pass against the Buccaneers last week, but you gotta hope that he's gonna step it up in this game, because outside there's no other tight end unless Dylan Sainer. We're gonna have to sign some guys on practice squads. It's just gotta be Nick Vannett time. 2016 third-round pick at Ohio State. Wide receiver has also been a position of need as of late. Obviously, before it wasn't really Michael Thomas, but Michael Thomas obviously got hurt before the season started. He's not coming back. So then it was down to top 3 receivers, Tre'Quan Smith, and Deontay Harris, and Marquez Callaway. Unfortunately, Deontay Harris got found guilty of a DUI, which means he's going to be suspended until next week, which really could have used him this week with the amount of playmakers we lack at the quarterback and tight end side of things. But he's going to be out for at least this week. He can come back next week, which is a thank God moment. Tre'Quan Smith is the other one that is hurt. Shoulder, limited practice, questionable this game. And if you're a Saints fan, you're just like praying. And I know it's not normal to pray that Tre'Quan Smith can play in a game. I pray to God Tre'Quan Smith can play in a football game, because, oh my God, without Tre'Quan Smith, we really are screwed. Outside of Tre'Quan Smith, if he can't play, number 1 receiver is going to be Marquez Callaway. I don't feel bad about that. He was huge against the Buccaneers, had an over 100 yards receiving in that game. Maybe he can build upon that. But outside of that, you got Ty Montgomery, the converted running back / receiver kind of player. He's definitely a useful player, but not a player I would like at the number 2 position. I'd love to have Tre'Quan Smith. 2015 third-round pick out of Stanford. Lil Jordan Humphrey, third-year player out of Texas. I really like Lil Jordan Humphrey, and I do think he has the possibility of making some big-time plays with this team. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe I really want Tre'Quan Smith to play in this game, but I wouldn't be depressed if Lil Jordan Humphrey did get to see more playing time. And then Kenny Stills is the one, oh my God, cut him already. He's not good. I believe you could pick up anyone off the streets and he could be better than Kenny Stills. He drops everything that hits his hands. He doesn't block well. He really provides nothing to your football team. He hasn't really had any big plays this year outside of the 1 touchdown that was called back from holding. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for me for Kenny Stills. I don't see any useful ability in him. Cut him. But he's a 2013 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma, and if Tre'Quan Smith can't play, he's our number 4 option, which, oh my God, kill me if that comes to be the case. Another huge suckiness for the Saints, and we haven't even gotten to the defensive side of things where it gets much worse, guys, is the offensive tackle side of the ball. Ryan Ramczyk got COVID, so he's 100% out this week. Teron Armstead has a knee injury. He did not practice, so he's questionable. You gotta hope. If you're a Saints fan, you gotta hope Teron Armstead comes back, because if not, you're starting James Hurst at the left tackle position, right? Who starts at right tackle? I can answer that question because I did figure it out, but you're talking about, before the season started, you had some solid depth at offensive tackle, but Ethan Greenidge went out entire season with an injury. We got no Landon Young after 1 game, who was our 6th-round rookie, who actually played decently well against Philly. He can't fill in. And then, not to mention, Jordan Mills, who was starting offensive tackle last game when we were without both of them, he's now out with the COVID, I think. And it's just like, oh my God, here comes Caleb Benenach, 2016 5th-round pick out of UCLA. Let's see, it wouldn't be 2nd string, wouldn't be 3rd string, it'd be about 5th string. Guy we just picked up off the streets. Guy's not even on our active roster normally. And that's not even to mention the defensive side of the ball, which is even more insane and depressing if you're a Saints fan. Right off the bat, at defensive end, you have one that will play in this game for sure. That's Cam Jordan, obviously, because Cam Jordan doesn't get hurt. My boy doesn't skip games. Cam Jordan, 2011 first-round pick out of Cal, if you did not know. But Carl Granderson, Jalen Holmes, both out with COVID, 100%. Like, those people have no chance of going back. Now, the hope is you can get these 3 back. Marcus Davenport has a shoulder injury, had limited practice, question for this game, but limited practice. It's better than did not practice, I gotta say, and you kind of need Marcus Davenport. So I'm hoping and praying that Marcus Davenport can come back this week. Peyton Turner, he had a shoulder injury. He's out. He was supposed to be out till this week, so hoping he can get him back. And Teno Capaccio had an ankle injury. He's supposed to come back this week. I just don't know. I don't know, guys. If we don't get those guys back, I don't know what we're going to do. Pat rushing the passer against Miami. Tua Tagovailoa can't have too much time back there. He's going to pick us apart. We need these three guys back. I'm hoping that we do get them back. Defensive tackle, a little bit more different. Christian Ringo has COVID, and Malcolm Roach has undisclosed injuries out for this game. Jalen Dalton got hurt before the season even started, so that really hurts as well. Just looking back on it, you have only 2 defensive tackles that should be on your roster right now. That's David Onyemata, 2016 fourth-round pick out of Manitoba, and Shai Tuttle, fourth-year player out of Tennessee. And it's just like, oh, please, I need David Onyemata and Shai Tuttle to just stay healthy and not get hurt in this game, because the only other backup we have is Albert Huggins, second-year player out of Clemson, and just, I really don't want to play Albert Huggins, that's for sure. I don't want that. That would be bad. That would be a very bad thing for me to have to start Albert Huggins, a defensive tackle. That would be really good. Not good. At linebacker, we lost some serious talent at linebacker, guys. Quan Alexander and Demario Davis, our 2 starting linebackers, both have COVID. They're both 100% going to be out for this game then. And then not to mention a great special teamer and a really good depth player, and Caden Ellis out with COVID as well, which means we have 3 healthy linebackers. And it's not even like we can be like, okay, we only need to play because we have a nickel. No, Malcolm Jenkins, as you see later on, he also has COVID, which means we might not play nickel. I think we should still play nickel. We should use P.J. Williams or Bradley Roby or Paulson Adib. No, or Bradley Roby. But regardless, I do think we should still continue with our nickel defense that we play so well. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different because Chauncey is going to end up being our strong safety. But regardless, we got to stick with what we do best. But Pete Werner's really been the only linebacker that has seen any significant amount of playing time, and I hope that we start him and Zach Bond, the 2020 third-round pick out of Wisconsin, and then we just use Andrew Dowell as a person we put in certain scenarios, or if one of the other ones are getting tired, and it's just like, maybe we can get Chase Hansen back. Chase Hansen's been on IR for most of the season, I think. Kind of need Chase Hansen back if he's not already picked up by another team, or like if he's not on IR or not already picked up by some other team. Chase Hansen would be a lovely addition to a linebacker core that desperately needs help right now. Strong safety, as I already mentioned, Malcolm Jenkins has COVID, but not to mention that the special teamer that got in the Pro Bowl, JT Gray, he's out for this game. One of the best gunners in the game. Jeff Heath, another very solid special teamer, and a very good depth player, considering we're not going to have Malcolm Jenkins, is out for this game as well with COVID. Which leaves Chauncey, the 2019 fourth-round pick out of Florida. I just gotta hope he plays well at strong safety. We've yet to see him play at strong safety because normally Malcolm Jenkins is playing there. And it really kind of sucks for the Saints team. And this game's so important to both teams too, because if the Dolphins win this game, they become the 7th seed. They control their own destiny of making the playoff, which is insane to think about in the month of October when they were 1-7. But yes, the Dolphins are still very much not alive in this playoff picture, but control their own destiny, which is insane to see. Would be crazy to see the Dolphins in the playoffs, but I also want to see my Saints in the playoffs. Saints also control their own destiny, because if the Niners, Eagles, and Saints all win out, then the Niners are the team that's left on the outside looking in. So, yeah, the Niners. I mean, the Saints, I would love them to make the playoffs. That's my dream. It's my dream, guys. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen this year. Because this is a must-win game for my Saints. And looking back on it, I would have loved to have the little wiggle room that would have been provided if we could have just held on against New York, if we could have just held on against Atlanta, if we could have just won the Tennessee game. It was a game we could have had as well. And it's like, looking back on it, that's 3 games. We could be 10-4 right now. We really could be. And it's 3 games that we let slip out of our grasp. We just let get away from us, and games we're not going to get back, and it's games that could most likely keep us out of the playoffs, and just hindsight's 2020. Just really kind of hurts. I don't think my Saints can make the playoffs because I think Miami wins this game. Just too many injuries to overcome for the Saints. I understand they get it at home, but still, Miami's been playing at a pretty high level. They have a 6-game win streak, and it's just I think they're gonna extend that to 7. But everybody, it's GGB co-host Pepper saying, adios amigos.
How could this happen?